Hey everyone, welcome back. Sean here with BlueRidgeSilverhound. So what we're doing today is I am going through and looking for nice type pieces. As you guys know, I'm putting together what they call a typeset, where you assemble one example of each series for every denomination. Okay, and that also includes gold as well, but which I may get into at some point, and I'll update you guys on the progression of this typeset. Seeing as how I have a little bit of free time to do this with the pandemic going on. But the main feature of this particular video is identifying problem coins, even if they are graded in holders. Okay, and we're going to use sites like eBay and Great Collections to identify some of these coins. They're not necessarily body bag material, okay? Like, you look at it, or like, oh yeah, there's definitely a scratch on there, or this thing is so far gone and corroded that it should never be graded in the first place. Now, these are coins that have maybe a little carbon spot that's beginning to develop on there, maybe a little piece of verdigris, which is like a green corrosive something or another on the coin, which over time can grow. But a coin can still straight grade perfectly fine, even though it has a little something on there. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at images. We're going to try and identify a few of these coins as potential problems in the future. Okay, so maybe, some of the coins, when they're encapsulated in these slab holders, will take a long time to progress just the overall corrosion factor on some of these coins. So if you look at something that has a little spot of verdigris, which on copper and nickel type coins, those are pretty common. You got to keep in mind, not in your lifetime will this thing ever get so far gone that you have to worry about it. But as far as an aesthetics kind of look, and in addition to being able to liquidate the coin further on down the line, let's say you have an upgrade, or you just want to get out of collecting in general, it'll be easier to do when you don't have the carbon spots or the verdigris buildup or anything like that. So I was actually, I'm on eBay. I'm checking out Liberty Nickels. Okay, specifically, I wanted to get a nice 1912S. Okay, there's only two coins in the entire, well, actually, it's a short run. It's 1883 to 1913. In this particular series, where you have a physical Denver and San Francisco mint, that's 1912. So I'm looking for something that's like VF25, VF30. Yeah, I'll be paying a good deal of money for the coin, but I want something that's presentable in my typeset. So with this new typeset, I have a budget ran of about $500–600 for this one coin. But I had come across a specific coin already. Ooh, that would be nice. That Mint State 65 right there for $5,500. Unfortunately, that is not in the cards. And the reason why that a VF25 is suitable for me is you have a lot of the detail left on the actual coin. So this is the one coin that I was able to find right off the bat. And it's a nice, strong, healthy candidate for my typeset. So I went to click in this particular listing. One thing I'll know is it's being sold by EERC, which is Eagle Eye Rare Coin. Okay, that's Rick Snow's website. He deals specifically, or for the most part, in Indian head cents. He's the master attributor of, like the doubled dies, the misplaced dates, and RPDs, and things like that. So, but he'll sell coins like this. Okay, so he'll sell other denominations and other types of coins. But all in all, this particular example here, the pictures, by the way, are fantastic. Anytime you can take images of a full obverse and a full reverse, and then one image of the slab, that'll maximize your listing. Okay, a little pro eBay tip that I've learned to use over the years. But what you want out of this coin if you're looking to get into quality, is a full liberty on the tiara or the crown or whatever it is. I like to see full 7 letters, highly visible, very strong. So this one certainly fits that profile of a coin that I would love. Excuse me. So the reverse of the coin looks good. Upon closer examination, and I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'm going to go ahead and enlarge it for you. See that little green spot that's sitting right here, just above the N in cents? That's verdigris. All right, that is a little corrosion spot. It doesn't completely kill the value or kill my interest in the coin, but as far as aesthetics and being able to sell this coin later on down the line, I prefer if that wasn't there. Now, people have asked me before, Sean, is it easy to eliminate spots like this? Okay, well, once it's permeated into the actual coin and it's starting to eat away at the top layers, I guess, of the coin, where it's straight up corrosion, then you can't reverse that. All right, and more than likely, if you attempted to do anything to fix or repair the green blob on here, you're going to come across issues, especially when you try and resubmit it to the grader. Okay, they're going to details grade the coin, therefore making it worth a lot less. So not playing around with it at all is probably the surefire kind of safest bet in tackling these type of coins. But not dealing with any of this stuff at all is probably much better, especially if you're a stickler like me. But the coin, in hindsight, is a nice original piece. Okay, it's a PCGS VF25. If I were going to invest any sort of money into a semi-key, I will get it graded. Not me personally get it graded, but buying a graded example. Now, some of you are probably going to say, well, that coin shouldn't even be straight graded. Well, yeah, it does. Because one spot of verdigris does not disqualify a coin whatsoever from being graded a specific level. Alright, so this is a really nice pleasing coin, okay? It's kind of like a bonus. It is CAC certified. So the coin has some... so it has extra skin in the game as far as relevancy. Just the grade is, you know, is spot on, no pun intended, for, you know, what you're getting. I mean, this is a suitable, good piece. All right, I would probably be happy with something like this. I mean, this is a relatively small spot. All right, I've seen a lot worse in graded coins, and then sometimes, you know, after, you know, a little while, like if you looked at this other image here and you looked at E pluribus and then the word unum, you could see a little kind of dark spot there over the N. That might also be a little bit of verdigris. That's what they call superficial. Okay, it's right on the top layer surface of the coin that you could probably remedy somehow, maybe with a little spot of acetone, or Verticare is the name of the product. That actually helps any sort of superficial green contamination on there. All right, so that's that one right there. Let's go ahead and take a look at, let's go on Great Collections. We're actually going to go look through the auction archives. Let's look at some early coppers, because those coins are the easiest to find with issues, and they're straight graded. So let's go ahead and take a look at Drape Bust, half cents, I guess. Actually, no. Let's go ahead and take a look at, let's see, the other one, Draped Bust cents. Because I always find a bunch of problem coins for this particular design type. So we're just going to go ahead and click into any of the straight graded non-problem coins in here. I mean, this one looks pretty good. When these coins get to be this age, you know, a couple of scrapes and little nicks and stuff is totally acceptable, as long as it's not showing some of the more major stuff like cleaned and all that stuff. All right, so this is a great example of another coin you should be on the lookout for. Now the coin is a straight graded, I guess, VF25 example, but if you looked at the edge where the letters and the little nubs here called denticles right here on the edge of the coin. Okay, if you look at the stuff in the middle there, you have some gunk buildup. And this stuff right here, because this coin is over 200 years old, builds up over time and it gets really super hard. There is no way that you can safely and efficiently remove any of this buildup of grease and dirt and grime. And keeping in mind that within all this, there's also some verdigris as well. All right, some of that corrosive material. So this one right here, while it looks great, keep in mind you have a lot of this prehistoric buildup of gunk on here, which, you know, when it becomes this hard and appears like almost blackish green, it's a safe bet to say that the progression of any sort of extra corrosion has stopped at that point. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at another coin here. Usually in the lower graded coins, I come across a lot of stuff. Here's an 1802. The surfaces look okay. Again, you have more of that buildup, where again, a coin that's over 200 years old, that's normal. But another thing to keep in mind, a coin can exhibit some light pitting as if it was corroded or an environmentally damaged coin. Like, keep in mind, some of these coins were buried in the dirt through whatever means. You know, a farmer working on his ranch, you know, it fell out of his pocket, you know, as an example, and it would just get buried under a lot of dirt for many years. But some of them do come up straight graded, depending on the actual porosity of these surfaces. Now this one, you can tell it's got some light granular porosity, where if you're looking for a nice affordable coin, the porosity is probably the least of your worries, because there's so much more detail still available on the coin. All right, so this coin right here is a VG8 brown. That is fine and acceptable for an early American copper. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at a few more here. Like if you got into some of the ones that have a details grade that are pretty obvious, like here's the VF Details 1803. This one says corrosion on the slab label, and as you can tell, this is a much worse case scenario for a corroded coin. This coin more than likely was buried for a very long time in soils where there was a lot of acidity. All right, that was doing its natural thing on these coins. So you can see just the granular porosity all throughout the coin. In addition to this fine kind of like black soot looking surface that covers the entire coin, there's just a lot that's saying that this one was buried for a long, long time. A lot of these were pulled out of the dirt on the East Coast. All right, so the difference between soils in the eastern part of the U.S. compared to here, say in California and Nevada, where the soil is much more dry, it's more granular, more sandy, a lot more clay. You know, there's less of the acidic kind of compound in the soils out our way compared to you guys there on the East Coast. All right, so let's see if we can find another kind of like mid-level, you know, coin. Here's a fine 12, 1802. I mean, this one looks pretty good. I mean, you got a few scratches. It looks like it's some sort of different dye state. I'm not familiar with the Sheldon attributions on a lot of these coins. I used to have the main was it Penny Whimsy. That's a book that if you're trying to look for today to attribute dye pairings of these early American copper large cents, is a fun task, but also very daunting. Say this S231, that's a Sheldon number. Right, So let's see. Let's go ahead and check out one more coin here. 1807/6 drape bust. Looks pretty good. Get in a little bit closer. Yeah, this one is a very attractive coin. I've never came across one of these for my own personal collection, but you can see the underlying 6 under that 7 right there. Oftentimes with these, oh, there you go. This is a great example. So you see some gunk build up in certain areas where it's more white. I'm not saying that that's verdigris, but this might have been like paint, for example. Okay, so that there was paint on here at one point, or some sort of matter where it was white and it got in between all the devices. Again, if this gunk right here is as old as the coin, you got to keep in mind that stuff is caked on there and it's hard. All right, there's no easy way that you could eliminate any of these contaminants on the coin without actually doing some harm to the coin. You know, if you're sitting there with a fine kind of like sewing needle and you're trying to prick away at all of this little white stuff, keep in mind you are going to be damaging the coin. Okay, you're going to scratch into the surface if you do that. Okay, there's no really, even doing the old rose thorn method wouldn't work on this, because this stuff is so prehistoric and it's calcified to a point where it's like rock hard. So you wouldn't be able to really work on any of these little detail areas. And then on to E, there's a little bit of verdigris. You can see this greenish black gunk sitting right here. You know, if you're looking for a coin that has no problems from this era, you're going to have a hard time, because a lot of the early coppers will exhibit something like this. Now, when you get into like the small cents, where you're dealing with Indian head cents and Lincoln cents, that's where you're going to have to not tolerate things like verdigris and corrosion spots. Because generally with those particular two series, okay, we're far enough along, we're more modernized in those particular coins that you shouldn't have to accept, you know, a full red 1915 Lincoln cent with a tiny little speck of carbon or green substance on the front or back of it. And it's still straight graded. Now keep in mind, a coin can be treated, it could be sent off to the graders, and it could straight grade. But the thing is, that plastic encapsulation is kind of like a coffin, a seal for that coin. It's to keep all of the air and everything inside the coin that's natural to that coin. So if there was once, say, a green spot of verdigris corrosion, okay, and that you were able to eliminate it by using like Verticare or acetone, that could always come back in the same exact spot, okay? Once it permeates through the actual topmost layer of the coin's composition, it's pretty much like rust, okay? It just continuously comes back. It doesn't matter what you do to it. And that's why a lot of people use like olive oil, linseed oil, to treat their coins, even though it leaves that unsightly oily surface on your early coppers. So I wanted to bring that up, just to recap, identifying some little tiny annoyances on straight graded coins that you may not be aware of, that might factor into your resale of the coin later on. Especially for some of you guys out there that like to buy coins through auction methods, not necessarily buy it now type listings, but you want to get the coin for maybe 20 to 30% back of bid, which is possible. There's coins every day that sell for way below gray sheet. Turn around and flip it, either double your money or make a substantial amount of profit. Keep in mind the surface of the coin. It's going to play a huge factor, ladies and gentlemen, in how it's presented when you go to resell it. So I want to thank you guys for joining in on this video. Sorry to keep it so long, but it's one of those videos that I've always wanted to do, because I've had a few requests about effectively identifying, by using pictures of coins on whether or not the quality is good enough. And there you go. So anyways, I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Hope you guys got a few takeaways from this. As always, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for instant notifications. And as always, Coinaholics, we are discovering together. You guys take care, have fun in this hobby, and I will see you on the next coin video. Take care.